Don't forget to wash behind your ears. It's soap time. I am your host, Beware, with my co-hosts, Robbie and Hudson. Say hello, guys.
Hello, guys.
Hey. Did you know that not only are you supposed to wash behind your ears, you're actually supposed to wash in your ears instead of using Q-tips? What? Yeah, Q-tips are really bad for you. You actually want to
what I keep telling
put a little
you.
bit of soap and water in your ear.
Okay, all right, look, here's the deal. If Q-tips are not for your ears, what in the hell are they for?
They're for
So they are for your ears, but you're not supposed to put them like in your ear. You're supposed to kind of,
Okay, so
they're for everything that a Q-tip is for.
I have heard for years that if you put a Q-tip in your ear, it pushes all the wax deep into your eardrum and it's gonna blah, 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 blah. My friend came over to our apartment and she had this little like stick with a light and a camera on it for like digging in your ear to clean them out. And she went in my ear. I use Q-tips all the goddamn time. She stuck it in my ear, and you know what? There wasn't a huge wall of buildup. There was a few little tiny things that were too deep for Q-tip to get. There should be, according to the naysayers and the heretics, that there's a wall, like 20 years of
a
wax.
Shrek crayon of wax.
There was no Shrek crayon.
That was unnecessary. You didn't need to say that, Hudson.
There was no Shrek candle. That's all I'm saying. I think it's bogus. I think it's and Q-tips. If people didn't use them for their ears, that company would be out of business.
I think that you just don't.
I think
generate
your
a lot
ear
of wax.
Your ear canals might also be bigger than mine because my ear canals are tiny.
I'm gonna turn myself up a bit. Check. I have pretty small ear canals as well. So I think that might be.
I can't even put AirPods in my ears without being in pain.
Sorry, can't relate. Big canal gang. All right, anyway, it's soap, and we're going to talk about podcast things. So first up, this week, there was some rather exciting news. There was a trailer that dropped for the sequel to Spider-Man PS4, made by Insomniac. I have seen the trailer. Robbie and Hudson have not. So what we're going to do this week is we're going to have them watch and react to this trailer.
Blind react,
gone sexual. It's gonna be crazy. Stay to the end. There will be surprises
among us
throughout the video, so do not skip to the end. There will be surprises during and at the end of the video. So yeah, they're gonna react to this.
Are you just saying that, or are you gonna actually add stuff?
I'm gonna add surprises throughout the video.
All right. We don't even know what the surprises are.
There is one caveat. I am a huge Spider-Man geek. He's been my favorite superhero since I was 5.
Yeah.
And the Insomniac PS2, the PS4 version, I have watched that movie 3 times. So, if my mic clips while I'm watching this, I apologize.
So I guess what you're saying is that this is going to be some primo react content.
Yeah, I'm just going to be silent until the end. I'll let you guys go for a little bit. So
I'm gonna react the whole time.
So I have not played any of the Insomniac Spider-Man games. But I have seen you play them.
Yeah.
I really want to play them / commentate you guys playing them because we could do that.
We could do like a stream where like I play Spider-Man or something. I don't know.
That would be fun. Yeah. I just want to be clear. There's like a level of how hype you can be, and the one like the highest level is like, whoa, Into the Spider-Verse, that's cool. That's like the really low level like hype, and then the highest level is like, is that fucking New York? Oh my god! So try not to be that high, but yeah, just have fun with it.
He has a red costume.
All right, are you ready, Robbie?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1,
go. Insomniac! JK.
I thought that was the trailer and it scared the shit out of me.
Damn these graphics, though.
For as long as I can remember, I have looked for an equal. One who could push me.
Oh my gosh!
could surprise
The
me.
Iron Spider, holy shit.
One who could even beat me.
Oh, it's both of them.
Yet all I found is disappointment.
Okay, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna
Will
be?
one of you finally give
gonna
me
walk
what
out of
I
there?
desire? We will.
Oh shit!
Wait, it's in 2023? Ah. Ah.
Damn. Okay.
Okay, that was one of the most well-produced trailers for a
Hell yeah,
video
it
game I
was.
have seen. That was like a movie. Them just going in and beating people up. The Iron Spider looks awesome. I didn't see the Miles Morales game because I wasn't as hyped for it, but he looks sick. The scene of them like looking into the alleyway, the narration in the begining, oh my gosh. That was really
I think
was
we
really
might have
well-produced.
not been exactly synced up, but it was close enough. Well, me not being the Spider-Man. This is the weird thing about this fucking podcast is that like I still feel like the weirdo nerd in this group, even though I'm objectively like I'm not, because I'm not nearly as into like fucking comic book shit as you guys are.
Yeah, so maybe, okay, we can geek out about this, Hudson and I, then. All right, so you know who was, like, talking in that trailer, right?
My entire reaction to this is like, oh shit, it's both Spider-Man. Oh shit, fucking Venom, and that was it.
So it was Venom at the end, but that whole, the lead
But
up,
yeah, the
like,
beginning was-
I'm looking for someone who can challenge me. It's Kraven the Hunter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking in the alley it was gonna be Kraven. I'm like, oh yeah, sick, Kraven, cool. And it's fucking Venom? Like, that's sick.
Venom.
Yeah.
Venom,
that's his-
Venom.
Was Kraven the I haven't seen Kraven the Hunter in any media since the comics.
Yeah.
I've read him in the original comics and I have not seen him in anything, TV show or otherwise.
I think he was gonna be in Amazing Spider-Man 3, and obviously that never happened.
Okay, so I'm glad that we see him here first.
He's gonna be done
Because
well.
Amazing Spider-Man 3 looked like it would have been bad. But I'm curious where they go with Kraven, because in the comics, he's this like Tarzan-esque, very 60s.
Yeah,
He's not the coolest looking. He's got like animals that he sends on people, but I'm curious if he's going to be a bit more high-tech, where they go with it.
I mean, I really like what they did with Doc Ock. I like what they did with like Electro and Rhino and stuff like that. So I think they're gonna probably update him a little bit in that similar manner.
Yeah.
So a couple things I wanted to touch on the trailer. One, Venom, probably Harry Osborn in this version, right? Because like
I guess,
at the end of the last one, he was like his dad had him in the tube and it looked like the symbiote. So that's different. That's definitely different. Number two, you didn't play the Miles Morales game. But in that game, he has lightning, like he does in this one, but it's yellow.
Yeah.
It's blue here, which I don't know if that means anything, if it's just an artistic change, but like it was very stylistically important. It was like yellow, because the color of the lightning kind of had to do with like the gameplay. So I don't know if that means anything. Side note, when they like web that guy, they grab him in the air and they both slam him down on the ground. That was like brutal. It was really cool though.
That's an example of Spider-Man maybe kills people.
Yeah, like if he
In this game, when he like grabs a motorcycle and whips her over his head and just kills a guy with it.
Aren't you just
Guys-
like literally just like yeeting people off of buildings in the game?
yeah, but what happens
Well-
is they have these little like things that like come out and stick them to the walls that are like automatic. That Spider-Man shot him with that when he kicked him in the face at 40 miles an hour. Like,
Yeah, but the thing is, he kicks the guy and the guy goes like 70 feet. He's just chest cavity was just caved in. But he's been left up.
if Spider-Man doesn't kill you, your hospital bills will.
Oh my god! And like he just Spider-Man accidentally the backstory for a Spider-Man villain is he was just put into crippling debt because Spider-Man kicked him off a roof.
No. It's
So now he has to resort to a life of crime.
No. It's like Canadian Spider-Man. It just goes like way fucking harder because
They have universal healthcare.
And so it's like white and red with instead of the spider, it's like a leaf.
He's basically the Punisher. He just kicks the shit out of people, like resuscitates them. You'll be fine. Oh god.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so I think the two other things. The fact that it's Peter and Miles implies that it might be like co-op, which would be really cool. Yeah, wouldn't that be sick?
I just hope this game comes out when Robbie's moved, so then that way we won't be fighting for co-op control.
Oh, I gotcha. And then the very last thing. Some people think
I hope I'll be moved by 2023. Holy shit.
You better be. You're not allowed to be here anymore after 2023. The last thing is Peter has the Iron Spider claws.
Yeah.
At the end of the last game, Doc Ock was like paralyzed, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna do Superior Spider-Man?
I hope not.
You don't
not
think
for
no?
this trailer.
Do you want to fill some
much.
of us in who don't know what that is?
Okay, so
Do you want
like to do it? Should I do it?
You can do it. Go ahead.
It's one of my favorite arcs. I really like this one. In the comics, at one point, Doc Ock is dying, and
Damn.
he'll fill in the details. But more or less, what happens is Peter Parker, Spider-Man, goes to visit him when he's dying, and Doc Ock swaps their consciousness. So Peter Parker is now, his brain is in Doc Ock, and Doc Ock is in control of Peter Parker's body. Doc Ock dies.
What?
Peter Parker is in his body when Doc Ock dies. Doc Ock becomes Spider-Man. One of the very first comic arcs is Doc Ock gets in a fight. I don't know who it is. I'm going to say Scorpion because I know it happens. Gets in a fight with Scorpion, goes all out because of course he's going to go all out, and he punches his jaw off in like one of the first swings and is like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. Spider-Man could have killed me so many different times.
He just chose
And his
not to.
whole thing is, I am going to be, no. He's pissed off by this. He's like, I'm going to be the better Spider-Man. I'm going to be the superior Spider-Man, which is the name of the comic books arc. And the whole arc of Superior Spider-Man is Doc Ock finding out that he is in fact not the superior Spider-Man, and eventually cedes control because Peter Parker's subconscious is still in the brain, cedes control of Peter Parker so that he can beat the Green Goblin. In one of my favorite comic book moments of all time, the Green Goblin is sitting there taunting Otto Osborn because he knows everything about Otto and he can predict his every move and there's no way he can beat it, and it's laughable that he would even try. And Peter Parker just looks at him and goes, only thing laughable about this situation is that you still have a man purse. And Green Goblin is like, fuck! And just books it out of there. Just doesn't even try to fight, just runs for his life.
That's good.
It's a great bit. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, so I think they might be. It would make sense that Peter would co-opt that technology because he helped create it, and that's why he has the legs in this game. I think maybe they might try to do a Superior Spider-Man game for number 3.
That'd be really cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, like this one might just be for Venom and Kraven, but like
Venom.
I'm just super psyched for this storyline. Because when they announced Insomniac Spider-Man, the first part, I was excited for the gameplay. But now it's like, I'm invested in this Peter Parker.
Yeah. No, I get that. That makes sense. That's the thing is, like, I see Miles is in this, and I like the Miles Morales game, but I would hope that Miles gets another game of his own, but I want this to be Peter focused because I really like this Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah. I just was very impressed by the fact that it looked like a trailer for a movie. And like, I've been looking for an opponent. Dude gets slammed into a tent pole, cuts to black, shows them beating people. You know, it's just a really cool
Cinematic, yeah.
Yeah.
And that supposedly it's like actual like game footage too.
Yeah, which is very cool. I mean, playing the previous ones, like, I can believe that. Like, those already looked amazing.
For sure.
So...
And that's the thing about like release titles, because like Miles Morales was like a release title for the PS5. Like those aren't really optimized yet. And so we still haven't really seen like I think the peak of what the PS5 can do, apparently.
Well, there's barely any games for it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the PS5 had already come out because I'm behind everything.
Well, I mean, it's come out, but I think like nobody's been able to get their hands on it.
Yeah, it was super limited
The
release.
semiconductor shortage, yeah.
So the thing is, Insomniac, they dropped that trailer, and I know they tweeted. They might have done it when they also did like the Sony showcase or whatever. But like it was on Twitter. It was Thwip, which is the sound of the Spider-Man, and then Snicked. They're making a Wolverine game. And
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, they're making a Wolverine. Insomniac, same studio. Yeah.
Oh fuck!
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
So everyone's pining,
Please.
hoping that it's rated M, which I agree. It should be like it should be pretty bloody.
Well, the Spider-Man game's rated M, isn't it?
T, I think.
Oh really?
Is it M? Pretty sure it's T.
I don't think it's M.
Anytime
Not
there's a
with
AAA
what
game
you
like that,
need
I
to
just
be rated
assume it's M. But
these
okay.
days.
Well, it's got the Wolverine game has to be rated M.
Yeah, but so that was one of the things I want to talk about. One of the best parts of the Spider-Man game is just swinging around the city. Because they've nailed it. Like they have perfected. You go through a water tower, you like do a spin when you like jump through it. Like they do, everything is beautiful. With Wolverine,
I know people who never used the fast travel system once in the Spider-Man game.
I used it once because I was curious. And then I never used it again. It's funny. It's him on the subway, and he's just like on his phone. The other people are looking at him, so like they definitely put care into it. But like it's so much more fun just to swing around. With Wolverine, I don't think they're gonna do a big open world like that because he just kind of like walks around. I think canonically Wolverine is slower than most people because he weighs like 300 pounds because his skeleton is metal and he like can't swim. So like I think it might be. I don't know, like mostly combat?
Give him a motorcycle or something.
How do you think they're going to do that?
Is it even going to be open world?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it would be. I think it might be a linear game.
I don't imagine this would be. Wolverine doesn't lend itself to an open world game unless he travels on all fours like an animal and goes super fast.
I think they should do the Wolverine. Well, that's the thing, I guess. So if you ever played the Batman Arkham games, they kind of get it. Oh, you just Hudson just propped up in his seat, like yes, I had. Those are great. But
Actually, I haven't.
The only thing I know about the Batman Arkham games is that like Batman takes up like a third of the screen or something when he's walking around.
Oh yeah,
he
the
can't.
Bat
takes up so
Zone.
much of the-
That's so. But those games are. It's a. I think they kind of. The Insomniac Spider-Man is like a spiritual successor to those. The combat system is very similar, and the traversal system is very similar. Because with Batman, you instead of swinging everywhere, you had a grapple gun, and then you would glide, and you would use that to get around the city. But when you're not using the grapple gun or the glide, which you use a lot, you're just a guy. You just like walk around, and a lot of that is like stealth and taking out bad guys stealthily, and then combat. I think if you could do a pretty good version of that with Wolverine, where like you can climb with your claws and like it's all about sneaking up on people and just like, you know, I think that could be a lot of fun.
I want to know how they run with his healing factor as a mechanic.
Oh yeah,
Because I think it'd be really cool if how they incorporate that. If they want to make it either he heals up over time, or if they want to make it a like Nova mechanic of you press a button and every now and then you can start rapid healing everything while you fight.
I would imagine it would be the first one. I would. What I would like to see is something similar to. Have both of you seen Logan?
Yeah.
So there's that scene in Logan where after the fight, he's like in the bathroom and he's like healing, and the fucking bullets are getting like pushed out of his body. I would rather see it more as like a. I don't know. It'll be interesting because like the other thing is that I guess Wolverine can't really like die in combat unless like he gets really fucked up, you know? So it would
you
be
have
weird
to like
the way
delete him.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna be weird how they would explain, or maybe like if he like dies, like goes to 0 HP in combat, maybe he just like wakes up, you know?
I was
don't
thinking.
know.
I was thinking you could be kind of so you could do something creative because it is a unique health system, right? Like you could have it so you cannot die in combat, but the more damage you've taken in the like short period of time, the slower you are, the weaker your attacks are, right? Because you're healing at that point, right? You're like actually don't have the physical muscle because it was torn open or whatever. Or you could just have it be like you were captured, right? You could do something like that.
It's also true that like in the original X-Men movies that were coming out and some of the video game content as well, his healing has gotten a lot of power creep since Wolverine was originally released. I wonder if they might make it a bit more old school with it, because in one of them he gets shot in the head, right? And he actually falls down unconscious for like a full minute before getting back up.
Damn, versus, a whole minute?
You know, in some of the new ones, he just is like, you know, he gets shot in the head and the bullet pops out immediately. So I think they might be weaker.
That's
maybe.
The thing is, so Spider-Man, they made it probably one of the more like futuristic high-tech versions, right? Because like he's got all those gadgets with like a gravity well and stuff like that, you know? Right now, all we know is we've seen a picture of his claws and like his back sitting in a bar. I think that's all we've seen. Like there's no trailer. It's just like a really short thing. But I will say this. They said that the first Spider-Man is like their Iron Man for like they're building a universe.
Oh, is it going to be shared canon?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I'm almost positive that Wolverine is in the same universe as Insomniac Spider-Man and that they want to do other characters. So, I don't know how they're going to do a scaling factor. I think there's a lot of ways to do it. I personally, if we're just getting other Marvel like games, I want a Doctor Strange game
oh my god,
fucking bad.
Oh my god.
That would be so cool. Think of all the cool shit you could do with that. That would be insane. That would be like Psychonauts on steroids.
That is simultaneously a game designer's dream and nightmare because there's just so much you can do.
Well, that's the thing, and that's I think something that like if there's somebody that's gonna do it, like think about how much innovation went into the first Spider-Man game. Like there has not been a game like you were talking about the swinging, like the way that they're able to because this has been an issue in video games, especially over the past 10 years or so, probably longer, where you have traditional video games that are gameplay focused, and then games get more cinematic, but as they get more cinematic, they get less gameplay focused, and it's more like just paying $60 to kind of just watch a movie. And so Insomniac has been really good at trying to sort of solve that problem. I think that if there's any studio that can take something like, Doctor Strange's abilities and make it into something that feels like you're fucking Doctor Strange, but also it's still like gameplay focused and it's not like forcing you down this like linear path of like what to do, I think it's probably them.
Yeah, for Doctor Strange, unlike Insomniac, I think he would have to be learning his abilities.
You think he'd have to be new?
And have a couple of core mechanics that he was starting to figure out. Maybe. That would make it
So the thing
easier.
with Doctor Strange is,
I think,
the way he was in the MCU, how he was introduced in that movie, a lot of it was like making the world shift and change.
Yeah.
His original, like, that wasn't exactly how he was typically portrayed in the comics. Like, it wasn't just like, all right, everything's a kaleidoscope now. It was more, let's hop through this portal and we're in a world where we're in cosmic cotton balls or whatever, like that Ditko art. So, if you were going to do a Doctor Strange game, you could have it where all of his abilities are like, they could affect the environment, but they could mostly be like attacks. It's a whole nother thing to be like, I want a Doctor Strange game where I can flip New York into a kaleidoscope view and like cut it in half and shit. That is like a whole other thing. I think they'd have to decide from the get-go if they want to do that sort of thing or not. It would be cool if that was like, there were certain segments where you could do that and like reshape the world. But I don't think it's impossible to like have the whole game be like, at any point, I just fuck everything up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that'd be so cinematic and cool in a video game context. So, I mean, it was cinematic and cool in the movie.
For sure. I think, have either of you seen What If? Marvel's What If?
Not yet.
I've seen episode 1, and that's it.
Okay.
I haven't seen the Doctor Strange one.
Watch the Doctor Strange one. It's the best one so far. The first episode is probably the worst, I think. So if you were like iffy on it, they're all better than that. But the fourth one is really good. It's the Doctor Strange one.
Or we're not going to talk about Shang-Chi.
The first one, the worst one? Or is it just that, you're a woman-hating asshole?
Oh, well, it's definitely a little bit of both, actually. No, I that's the thing is, I like the concept of Captain Carter. I do. I think it's an interesting, like, alternate universe version, especially because, like, Steve becomes, like, Iron Man, kind of. Like, that's a really cool What If universe.
Switch.
The problem with that episode is it's so similar to the original Captain America that it's not as interesting to watch.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Interesting.
that's what a lot of people were kind of bored by it.
I liked the ways in which it was like it was the what if, like how would that change things? Oh, it's a slight change to this. It's a slight change to that. The pacing felt really weird though.
I have preferred, the pace. That's another of the issues with specifically that one. I think the other ones are better. I prefer where it's like, here's a change that drastically alters the course of this universe. You get to see characters you're familiar with in completely new environments. So that's true of the fourth one, the Doctor Strange one, which is my favorite, and the fifth one, which is the zombie one, which I also liked a good deal. But yeah, they're a lot of fun. It's a mixed bag which episode, but it's an anthology, so you don't have to watch them in order or anything. Also, have you seen Shang-Chi?
No.
Ah, fuck.
So let's
Okay,
not talk
I
about
wanted
that.
to talk about that, but that's all right.
Yeah.
I haven't been watching movies in theaters. I watched Black Widow in theaters, and I'm not in. I don't know. I'm just not really at it. I didn't
Was
really
it, like-
realize how much I wasn't on board with the theatrical. I never loved going to theaters.
You're just not a fan, really?
going back to theaters.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was never a huge fan of going to theaters. All of my best theatrical experiences have been Marvel movies, right? With a couple exceptions. But
That is
I
not
don't
the
love going
case
to
for
movie
me,
theaters.
but that's interesting.
And
I don't understand that at all.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't like it.
The fucking big screen and the sound and shit.
It's not my speed. I think it's the whole experience of going in for it.
Really?
And then there were
Damn.
movies that I thought I'd really like with it. I watched John Wick 3 in theaters. I thought I'd really enjoy that. I didn't enjoy it in theaters.
So my position on theaters is that, if it's for example, my parents, we would always take us to this one theater that was really bad, and it would show the movies a month after they came out, or 2 months after they came out. And sure, this is cheaper, but if this is what you're gonna do, why not just literally rent the movie at home? Because the experience is the same. So my position on theaters is that if you're gonna watch a movie in a theater, fucking go big, watch it on IMAX and shit. And if you're not gonna do that, then it's not really worth it. For example, my favorite movie experiences have been watching stuff. Also, IMAX at movie theaters is not real IMAX. It's good, it's a bigger screen and stuff, but real IMAX is the screen is literally fucking 4 stories tall. If you go to a museum or something that shows documentaries in IMAX, that's real IMAX.
Mikey, what is I'm curious about your opinion on theaters.
I don't like going to theaters just to see any movie. Most stuff I watch on my laptop, but if it's something that I'm excited for, I want to see it in a theater because it's big, it's an event. I mean, it's physically big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had the option whenever Robbie and I are watching an anime, I would prefer to watch the final episode in a theater. It just makes it feel more this is an event that I'm experiencing. And so I remember after Batman v Superman came out, I hated it, and I hated all the DC. I was like, this sucks. I'm really mad. I want DC to be good, and it's not good. So I chose not to see Wonder Woman in theaters. I just watched it on my laptop, which is sort of an
That
L.
was a bad move.
Was sort of an L for me because that's the best DC movie.
So that's the thing. It's Wonder Woman,
Yikes.
Wonder Woman. Seeing that in the theater was awesome, and that was that's one of the only movies that I've seen where the stunt women, I guess, are the ones that carried the movie. That's the only movie where literally my jaw dropped from the stunts and stuff.
I don't even remember. That was not the part.
There were a
that I
couple of
perfectly
slow
enjoyed,
motion
but
shots that were just holy shit.
I don't know.
That's basically all I remember from the movie.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm not prepared to dive into that, but I did enjoy it. Yeah. So that's sort of my whole opinion on it. I remember because of the whole pandemic, I hadn't been to a theater in a year, and I went to go see the Demon Slayer movie, and I was like, oh, it's good to be back in a theater and eat my theater nachos.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, this is an experience that I've missed.
Because I went to see Black Widow, and I was like, I don't want to buy premiere access, but this wasn't it. And I was going with my sister, which was actually fun. But I think the whole, like, I'm eating popcorn, I'm drinking a soda. It was even before the movie started. It was like, I
missed that. I missed that feeling.
I can do this at home.
That's fair. I mean, I won't. Whatever, what floats your boat. I will say one of my favorite things is Critical. He has the funniest. He did a Marvel tier list of all the movies, and when talking about Black Widow, he's like, the villain in Black Widow, his power is that he's stinky.
I remember.
You get away.
No, that was a Shang-Chi review.
No, he's talking.
Maybe he said that in both videos.
He said it in like 3 videos now. Yeah, but yeah, he was like, you get a whiff of him and you just can't do anything. Yeah, Black Widow was not great.
Charlie, if you're listening, please come onto our podcast.
Shang-Chi was great. You should definitely see Shang-Chi. If you
okay.
Yeah,
Shang-Chi was like, so we were talking about this. The only thing that we'll say, maybe see it in a theater and see if you still hate theaters. But like, he's probably the best Marvel villain. Yeah,
the villain in that, the Mandarin, is like the best.
I know the Mandarin was. Yeah.
This is the real Mandarin.
I didn't know it was the Mandarin.
Yeah, the real Mandarin. If I were to like rank it in the other movies, I think it's up there around Winter Soldier and like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. It's up there for me. It's really good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Also the music is quite good too.
What are the tiers of Marvel movie for you? If you were talking about that, not even the like ranking necessarily, but like tiers.
Yeah. Okay. So I think there's like Kino, Peak Cinema, and there's like 1 or 2 in there. Like there's the really, really good ones. There's I will rewatch this again anytime I want. There's it's okay. Then there's like I have no desire to watch this. I don't think any of them are like this is a horrible movie. I don't think
any Marvel movies are bad. Some of them are just like Marvel MCU at its worst is just like standard action movie fare. And it's just not particularly good. Yeah. I would say I actually have some opinions about this. I think that the Avengers movies maybe should not be part of the same tier list as the other MCU movies. Possibly. Maybe not, because then it's like I think maybe like OG Avengers might not be S tier. OG Avengers is maybe like A tier or maybe even B tier. Age of Ultron is definitely B tier or C tier, and then once you get to Infinity War and Endgame, they're both S tier.
I would disagree with that.
Really?
I would Infinity. Okay, so if we're gonna be doing this, I guess the toppest of tops is like definitely Infinity War. I think that's probably the best Marvel movie. And then I would put like Winter Soldier, and I personally really like Civil War. Like those go up there for me. Endgame, you're talking about theater experience, best theater experience of my life. Yeah, but like ranking it as a movie, it's closer to like A or B.
When are we getting that extended Endgame cut?
Endgame is not a movie. Oh, right. Yeah. Endgame is like a conclusion. I don't even. I think that's what I'm saying. Endgame as a movie.
Like, I don't think you can really separate Endgame from the 10 years. That's kind of what I'm saying. Is that it's just like the point that I was trying to make is that there are certain movies that are just like so unique and are such a unique like experience that like it's kind of weird to compare them to others. So Endgame. Oh my God. We're not even going to talk about that. We're not. So Endgame, I would even put like Spider-Verse sort of in this category a little bit. Really? Spider-Verse is like, it's just so unique compared to like any other like movie that like, sure, you can talk about it objectively as a movie where it has like downsides and stuff, but it's just like so unique. I'm struggling to think of other examples here.
Is it really that unique?
I don't think Spider-Verse is anywhere near in the category for me because Endgame is it's working to conclude like 10 years of stuff, and the satisfaction and how the movie is going to be remembered is not going to be based on the pacing or this or that. It's how satisfactory of a conclusion.
Well, I think that's why Endgame
Spider-Verse is different because it's just a different take on something. Yeah. I didn't think it was It's like I'm watching this movie and I'm rating it differently from other movies because of how unprecedented it is. Not so much.
Let me rephrase that. that's why Endgame is unique, and there are other reasons why. What I'm saying is that they're not necessarily like better. I'm not saying that these are in their own class. They're like in an SS tier or whatever. It's like, it's sort of weird to compare them to other movies that might even be better, but aren't like Infinity War would also maybe be in this category too. But anyway, that was just kind of like a side tangent. I don't want to like.
Yeah, I don't know if we're on the same wavelength with that one, but I don't think it matters too much.
I will say this.
I didn't love Infinity War.
Really? Have we discussed
I
this?
thought it was really overrated.
Wow.
Maybe. I didn't think it was bad, but I remember watching it and being like, great, I'm psyched for the next one.
I
think people were don't
relate. You're not valid. That's not valid.
The moment it's fine, it's fair, but like the moment Thanos showed up and beat Hulk, I was like, okay, cool. So this is the movie where he snaps everyone.
Really?
And so him snapping everyone wasn't this like, oh my gosh, it's a surprise. It was like, okay, cool. That was the thing that I knew was going to happen. It was inevitable. What's going to happen in the next one? Because I genuinely don't know what's going to happen.
See, I did not assume that right at the beginning.
Because I think most Marvel movies, you go in knowing what's going to happen, more or less. Like, you don't know how it's going to happen, but you know the good guy's going to win. Right? Like, in most Marvel movies, you have an understanding of good will triumph over evil and not that many people will die. Infinity War didn't break that mold for me just yet, because I thought Thanos was going to win right out of the gate, and I wasn't sure how many of the deaths were going to be reversed.
I think this is a trend.
And that's where it was, yeah.
This is a trend with you, just speaking to you on this podcast. Like, you tend to have differing opinions from like the vast majority of people when you watch stuff,
and that's bad.
Because you go into these films with preconceived notions that I think most people don't have. Like, you assume things about them, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Normally when I go in, I'm like, all right, this is about the Avengers. Blow my mind.
So I kind of like, I think it's reasonable to assume that it was going to end on a downer and stuff, but I seriously didn't expect Thanos to kill half of like life on the universe. I thought something was going to happen because obviously there's a sequel, so obviously like they're not going to beat Thanos or something, but like this was not the way that I expected it to happen.
So I didn't think that.
Yeah.
I thought like, if we're going back in time, I thought the first one was going to be Thanos and they were going to beat him. And the second one, Thanos is going to come back, and I was expecting Galactus. That's, if we're going back to 2017, that's what I was thinking at the time. I was thinking he was going to come back, because at the very end, when Thor throws Stormbreaker, I'm like, yes, they did it. They did. Thank God. Like,
and then when he's like, you should have gone for the head.
Yes.
Like, I still remember how like my fucking stomach dropped.
Right.
Yeah,
I was expecting the good guys to win. I was like, this is so clear. Like,
interesting.
Yeah, and then Thanos won. So
I thought, from a story standpoint, for me at least, they established pretty early how inevitable Thanos was. And so I was enjoying watching how much it took to fail to bring him down. So when he threw the axe and I was like, oh, wow, he survived that. That's interesting. Like, that's not going to bring him down. This guy's really badass.
Because actually, hold on, really quick. So the thing that I think maybe even made it hit harder for me was we had one discussion before Infinity War. We were talking about like power scaling Thor before and after Infinity War.
Oh,
and
right.
we were like, Thor is probably going to get a huge buff in this movie. And so there's that sequence of like everybody fighting Thanos and losing, and like, you know, Captain America fucking fighting him. And then Thor shows up. And then we're like, holy shit, Thor's gonna like kick his ass. And then he fucking like impales him with Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
So that made it hit even harder.
Yeah.
I think that, honestly, I'm just kind of like sorry that you like saw it coming, because it was like an amazing twist going into it and having no idea that was gonna happen.
I just think, I don't know.
Yeah.
It made Endgame better then, because Infinity War was just teeing up Endgame.
Yeah. So that's the thing when you're talking about Endgame.
Satisfying. So for me, Endgame is the S tier ultimate Marvel experience.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is that when I'm thinking about Endgame, it's still like is in a different like category in my brain. Like, I don't even think of it as like one of the Marvel movies. So I think that Endgame you can't really like put it in the tier list. So like,
it's really
I would
hard.
say my S tier for Marvel movies would be Infinity War, Guardians, maybe Guardians 2. I need to rewatch Guardians 2
Okay.
and Black Panther.
It's a lot sadder
and
after Infinity War.
and
Black
Civil
Panther
War.
S tier.
Yeah, Black Panther.
You
S tier.
really like Black
I really
Panther.
like Black Panther.
For my S tier is like pretty sparse because if we're including Endgame, I'd put Endgame in the S tier. Infinity War was weird for me to rate because both of those just felt like they were setups and conclusions. So I don't know how I'd rate those as much. Maybe the original Avengers because of how good and unprecedented it was when it came out.
Yeah, I remember it being really good.
Like rating it when it came out, I would put it at S tier.
Yeah.
But the only movie that I'm like 100% certain I'm confident putting in S tier and would happily rewatch it and still rank it S tier would be Winter Soldier. I think
Winter Soldier's really good.
It is. I need to watch when I've only seen it twice. I need to maybe watch it a third time because like you guys both love it a lot, and I just like it was okay for me.
It's that's how
it was
I feel
one of those
about
movies
Black
that
Panther.
Yeah, I thought I didn't love Black Panther.
That's the thing. So like I thought you haven't seen it yet. Shang-Chi, and this is kind of what got me on this train.
Shang-Chi is definitely A tier.
I would put it probably A. The thing is, seeing that movie, it's the first time literally since the phase 1 when I'm like, oh, remember how excited we were when we were like Cap is gonna meet Thor in Iron Man.
Yeah.
At the end of this movie, I'm like, oh shit, Shang-Chi is gonna meet like other Avengers, and they're gonna have like a moment where there was like the hammer and the shield.
Yeah.
We're gonna see something like that soon. I'm like, oh, like this is going at the end of phase 3. I'm like, if Marvel ended right now, I'd be fine. Like it was so good. I'd be happy with
honestly,
it.
like
This has relit I'm like, all right, hit me with it. I want more now.
I'm excited, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, it's like, it's only a matter of time till they fuck things up. It's only a matter of time, especially after Black Widow. It's like,
I genuinely think Black Widow was written to be a phase 3
movie.
Phase 2 or phase 3.
Phase 2 for sure. Yeah.
Well, no, because it came after Civil War.
Was that phase 3?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
written to be a phase 3 movie, and it just never got made.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, it was the production stuff.
Yeah.
If it came out right after Civil War, it's such a
fine.
better movie.
Yeah.
yeah,
The hook for
I
Hawkeye
think
was
that
good.
it was. Yeah.
Oh, that was the best scene in the movie. Was the end credits scene.
No, the best scene of the movie is when she's like, I think the best scene of the movie is the beginning, but
When it has like that song playing,
everything
and
was
it's
no. The beginning when they're in America.
Yeah.
Everything's downhill from there. Like I was completely bought in.
Yeah, it was pretty
after
good.
that whole thing.
Her first fight with Taskmaster
That was pretty good. Yeah, on the bridge.
was
Yeah.
pretty
Taskmaster
cool.
was so disappointing. That's the thing. And
I loved so much of what they did, but then they just, one, didn't do enough, and two, oh cool, we're blowing up a thing in the sky as we try to stop a mind-controlled villain. Where have we seen this?
Why are we
concept
supposed
before?
to feel bad for him that she like almost killed his daughter? Like,
what? We're supposed to feel bad for the daughter.
What?
yeah, but why is he like in that one scene? He's like, look what you did to my beloved daughter. It's like, okay,
He can't train her to be a widow now. I think that was his impl. Like
okay.
We're not supposed to feel bad. It's supposed to be like, wow, this guy's
he's a
fucked
bad
up.
stinky
He's like,
boy. Yeah, like he's
Okay.
not a good person.
yeah.
Marvel villains are.
I loved the fact that Dreykov's daughter was Taskmaster. I just think it would have been so much cooler if she was in charge of the whole thing. And it's like, you killed my dad and almost killed me. Since the age of 8, I've been studying everything you and all your friends have been doing.
That would have been really
You
cool.
would,
so
yeah,
much
she should be a
cooler.
lot stronger.
That would have been a
especially
way cooler twist, yeah.
Considering she's kind of like the MCU version of Cell. Like,
She's pretty strong.
Well,
I thought.
okay, so that's the thing is, David Harbour. What was it? It's Captain Russia. What is his
Red Guardian?
Guardian.
Red Guardian.
He
She kicks his ass.
Captain Russia.
Red Guardian does not get a single W in that whole movie.
Yeah.
Like he is literally a joke.
Fucking waste of an actor too.
Yeah, he's a joke from start to finish. He should have gotten one moment to shine, one moment, and it would have redeemed that character.
His one thing is when he's like, My Miss American butt.
Yeah, so I think there were lots of...
I thought his one moment was in like the very opening scene when they're escaping.
That's when he's good.
And
That's the only good part of the fucking movie.
All right, you need to chill.
Yes.
You need to chill out, bro.
And he's completely different for the rest of the movie. He loses his American accent and he loses his entire like fucking character with it.
Watch out for the communists, guys. They'll get you.
I don't think he loses. He stays like he's really interesting. He just is played as a joke. Like his character is someone who like he's like, I am excited that I am Red Guardian. I want to be the Russian version of Captain America. Let me do stuff, and they just don't. And that is an interesting character. It just played as a joke every time.
Yeah.
And that's, again, you haven't seen it, sorry. One of the really good things about Shang-Chi, they don't treat everything as a joke.
Yeah.
Like, when there are dramatic scenes, they're just dramatic. I think,
Dude, Shang-Chi you gotta watch Shang-Chi, man. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, that's another reason I think it's an older movie. I think going forward, they recognize that as a fault. And they're trying to not do it in Phase 4.
Oh, yeah.
I think that this is just old script.
I hope so.
I hope so.
That to me is what I will, when we're talking about like the tiering, right? That is how I adjust a lot of the tiers. And I think almost every Marvel movie you can rate at how well they handle dramatic and comic moments. Like the really good Marvel movies balance them really well. Movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, go in the A tier. Not because they balance it, but I think it's interesting to see that is I think a common factor between the movies that are good is they balance it really well. Guardians of the Galaxy was a movie that I went in with super low expectations and loved, so that's in my A tier.
Yeah, I think maybe Black Panther wouldn't be an S tier for me, but it would definitely be an A tier. So I think S tier.
Yeah.
I think. Whoa.
I feel like S tier is like blew my mind in the stratosphere of like.
So I think
loved it. A tier is like I would, if it's on, I'm watching it.
I would. Okay, so if I'm revising, I would put Infinity War, Endgame, and Civil War in S tier for me. And the thing is that all of those have twists that were multiple movies in the making. Which is why I sort of think
I forgot about
it's a little unfair.
I love Civil War so much. Some people don't like
yeah,
it. I love it. I think everything after Phase 2 that's true. Thor Ragnarok, it has shit that it built on. I mean, I guess not like.
I suppose
even Black Panther has stuff that it like built on, and it's a pretty self-contained.
Well, that's not the same thing as like Civil War. Like Civil War, those are like major plot points. Yeah, those are like major plot points in the big like you know.
I have a really hard time when I'm like, I want to make a tier list. In my head, I have how much I enjoyed it, but I also have this weird like how not objectively good is it, but objectively good is it. So for example, if I'm going for the tier list purely from enjoyment, Infinity War is B tier. But I would never put Infinity War as B tier if I'm making a rating.
I think that's important
because it's really good.
Most people don't have a separation between objectivity and subjectivity.
Right.
I didn't for a while when it comes to ranking movies. And the one thing that finally made me do that was Wonder Woman 84. I don't know if either of you have even seen that yet. You have?
Not.
Oh, no. I heard it was
That's the thing. I watched it. I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. And then I read like what people said about it, and like this was terrible. It was horrible. It was a horrible follow up. Patty Jenkins should never make a movie again. None of it made sense. And I was like, wow, a lot of these criticisms are like correct. They're not like wrong. Like the things they said about the movie.
Yeah.
But I still loved it. Like I still really liked this movie.
It's a movie that fucking rules.
Maybe. I would like rank it like subjectively. I'd give it like an 8 or a 9. Objectively, it's probably closer to like a 5 or a 6, maybe even a 4. Like it's not. Yeah.
So what I'd want to know is I'd want both of you guys to just absolute gut check, pure enjoyment, tier the Marvel movies top 10.
Oh, if we're just doing that, it's all the Avengers ones are up at the top and Civil War.
Not for me.
Then like probably Guardians and Shang-Chi. Those would all be at my top. I'm not gonna do all the movies, but like that's I really liked all of those a lot.
Yeah.
I would do so like I said before. So are you saying like subjectively or objectively?
Yeah,
subjectively. Okay,
Just
subjectively. I would have to say Civil War, Avengers 1, Marvel's The Avengers. Infinity War, Endgame is like S++. But like at S tier, that's like S tier. And then Black Panther and maybe Guardians 1. And then
I gotcha.
A tier would be Guardians 2, Thor Ragnarok, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, both Spider-Mans. Can't forget about Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. Forgot about those.
And then B tier would be like Ant-Man 1, Thor 1, maybe the Captain America movies that aren't Civil War. That's as far as I'm gonna go, but that's sort of where I'm at. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I would put Endgame again S+, just because it was the buildup of everything and the theater experience, and we went to IHOP afterwards, and I just
Endgame is like a life experience. That's like Endgame is like a life experience as opposed to like a really good movie.
We talked about that for hours afterwards. Yeah.
And then we got out of the movie and some jackass from our school spoiled
Oh my god!
by intentionally.
Have we talked about that on the podcast?
We haven't.
Okay, because I feel like I should be the one because I'm the one who like found this out.
Okay, wait,
Dude,
really
go for
quick
it.
before you
Go
do.
for
I
it.
just want to say this. With this movie, I was like the brigade leader. I said to everyone in our group, I'm like, listen, don't go on social media
Yeah.
a week before. Turn off your phone, and the whole day before the movie, don't eat or drink anything. Just do those things. Trust me, it will be better.
Exactly.
Trust
Oh
me.
my gosh.
Our one friend is a moron. He didn't listen. He got it all spoiled for him, but it doesn't matter. We went to see the movie. Go ahead. Tell him
Okay. The credits are rolling, all right? We are basking in the post-orgasmic bliss of Endgame, all right? Actually it was like 10 of us, and all of us like go to the same school.
Yeah.
We were like juniors at the time, I think.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, 2019.
Was it 2019?
2017 was like
you're right.
Ultron.
Yeah.
So there's like certain like email lists for like the whole school. Some jackass. I check my phone after the movie is like over. We get up, I check my phone. Somebody had emailed the entire university, and the subject line was in all caps, Tony Stark dies.
God, what a...
If we had gone to a later showing of the movie,
Yep.
that would have been spoiled for us.
Yep, I picked the earliest one that we could all go to. I'm so happy. And the thing is,
We skated
so
angstroms close to the void. We stared at the jaws of the spoiler abyss of oblivion. And we avoided it.
You want to know something funny though? Is even if we would have seen a later showing, I still wouldn't have gotten spoiled because I told everyone I was close to not to text me and then turned my phone off for the whole day.
I didn't do that because I'm dumb.
Okay, you have your tier list. Do you want to?
So I think if I'm going purely subjectively for my tier list, Endgame is obviously S+, just because it was so much fun to watch it in theater. Like you said, it was an experience going to IHOP afterwards. I can't separate watching Endgame with freaking out about it with Mikey when Cap picks up the hammer and then talking about it at IHOP for an hour and freaking out about stuff. Even though our theater was pretty bad, like us not included, our theater was bad.
There was that one person fucking talking.
That was quite annoying. Yeah.
But, it didn't ruin it because we were just, we were enjoying it. I think the other S tier movies for me, I don't like watching the original Avengers anymore. But when it came out, it was S tier. Now it's B tier. Civil War, Winter Soldier. I love Captain America. I think A tier gets into Guardians of the Galaxy, Age of Ultron. I actually think Age of Ultron sets up the rest of the Marvel movies really well, even though on its own it doesn't always hold its own. And Ant-Man and the Wasp. I loved Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Interesting.
That's really funny. You really like that one? I mean, we were talking subjectively, so that's fine. Yeah. It was funny.
It's great. It was just a fun movie, you know, after everything that happened. And then the post-credit scene blew my brain.
Yeah, that was good.
I just want to say, from an objective level, that's arguably the worst Marvel movie. Like, it's...
Really? I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
I don't think it was worse than Dark World.
Wait, listen. Okay, listen to me. So, okay. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Who was the villain?
Fucking who cares? It was the Southern guy with the truth serum. Yeah, it's
a
one
horrible
of the worst villains.
Horrible villain.
Objectively.
But this is the
horrible.
MCU.
No. You don't even know his name. Hudson doesn't know his name. Hudson remembers everything. Don't even know his name. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, the ghost. Genuinely cool powers, right? She can phase through stuff. How does she get her she's chasing down the heroes because she's gonna die. Like, her powers aren't working, right? Do you know how she gets that resolved?
They have the fucking quantum energy.
They don't resolve that.
They don't.
That's the thing.
They bring back...
They Deus Ex it, and then I think they haven't resolved it yet. They need to get back to that.
Yeah.
The reason why I think a lot of those things don't matter is that it's a different type of Marvel movie, which I liked. It's very much a turn your brain off, and it's very fun, and it's a comedy. And the stakes are super low, which is why I don't care about the villain that much. And there's a lot of that kind of thing, which I really like, as to where I think things like Thor: The Dark World, the original Thor, trying to be very serious and failing. And if we're talking about objectively, it has like a fairly high Rotten Tomatoes rating. So if we're going to go into that, you know, that's my only ace in the hole that I have with that.
It is... No one rewatches Ant-Man and the Wasp. No one. Like, it's... And most people forget it exists when they're ranking. You can say it's low stakes, so it doesn't need to be, like, serious, but, like, it's forgettable. It's just, like, such a nothing movie. Like, I really like Ant-Man, and I like Wasp, and I like Hank Pym, and I think the Quantum Realm is cool. That movie just is boring as all hell. It's so nothing. It's just, like, not an experience.
I rewatched it 3 times.
You've seen it 4 times total?
It's just a fun movie. It's not like, it's a comedy. You watch it to laugh. I think the fact that it's not like the other Marvel movies, like, sure, it's forgettable.
I think most of your opinions are illegal.
I think the dumbest part of Ant-Man and the Wasp is, like, Mrs. Hank Pym. How the fuck did she survive in the quantum realm for so long? What did she eat?
It doesn't make any sense. Did she eat
quantum food?
Okay.
Also, if you're in the quantum realm...
There's an answer to that!
How do you...
There's an answer to that. I thought the same thing when I saw it. If you watch the movie very closely, there's actually a city. There is a city in that realm, and it's highly implied that is Kang's city. Kang has, like, a city in the quantum realm. It's a whole thing. I thought the same thing. I'm like, where'd she get the clothes? Did she eat quantum food? I thought that is not a valid criticism. But
it's so dumb how the minification thing happens by reducing the space between molecules.
Yeah.
But you can go subatomic.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing is just stupid.
When you shrink, you retain all of your mass. That's why I keep this tank on a keychain in my pocket. like
that. Yeah. So Ant-Man just kind of just doesn't make sense from the get-go.
Yeah, it's just stupid and fun.
So,
yeah.
I wouldn't say it's objectively the worst. I think if you're looking at it from the parameters of, like, story and arc and that type of point, which is, I think, how you usually look at movies from that standpoint, it's easily one of the worst, if not the worst.
I'm saying objectively.
But from the standpoint of purely enjoyable, which I think is, like, a part of like, analyzing the movie, is actually, like, the actors and how well they bounce off each other and how funny it is. That's a part of the movie. It's harder to quantify, but I still think it's part of what makes a movie good, and that part of the movie was really good. That part is hard to pull apart from the subjectiveness of it. But so I think saying, like, it's subjectively the worst movie, I would disagree with it. Just because I think, you know, if you look at it from the parameters of, like, hey, the actors are really good, they're very charismatic, it's very fun.
I just think it's got to have some heart, man. It's got to touch you. It's got to make you feel something. Only thing that made me
The
feel
hide and
was
seek didn't make you feel something?
it was funny.
I
I
thought
was
hide and
it's
seek
definitely
did.
funny,
Okay.
but like none of it. Okay, if we're really gonna talk about this, we don't need to talk about this. We're really gonna talk about this for
This is the most important Marvel movie, and we need to discuss it thoroughly.
Okay.
S plus tier is Endgame and Infinity War. S plus 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 tier is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
There's S tier, S plus plus, there's Stan Lee tier, and then 8 tiers above that, there's Goku. And that is Ant-Man and the Wasp. What I was gonna say is
Gohan Calvo tier.
to feel something strong, like strong emotions, there needs to be stakes. And if to have stakes, it needs to be somewhat serious. That's all. It is a fun movie. I enjoyed it. It's a good comedy. It's very forgetful because it doesn't really make you feel anything.
In that sense, you are very correct. The stakes are very low. That's part of why I liked it, was because I didn't have to get too invested, and the stakes of so many Marvel movies are so high. If that was one of the only movies Marvel came out with, I would say it was a bad movie. I would not be as excited for it. But because it felt like such a response to all the other Marvel movies, and that's so much of what Ant-Man feels like. And the same thing with Spider-Man. It's just lower stakes, kind of fun, and that's why I liked it. Gotcha. And I think it's fair to be the stakes were low, and therefore your emotional reaction is going to be lower. 100%.
All right, so
that's accurate.
I'm very biased with Ant-Man and the Wasp, because
I think Wasp is cute.
No. Oh my god, I'm very biased.
I did have a crush on comic books Wasp.
I'm very biased with Ant-Man and the Wasp, and the reason is because it happens in San Francisco.
Oh.
And literally, all the places they go in the movie, I had been to those exact places, literally the week before, the day before, and I was like, oh shit, it's in the movie. I literally had been to the Muir Woods, I had been to the pier and stuff, so I think that's another reason why I'm kind of biased.
All right, so I think
I'm so happy. Before we move on, I'm so happy that we had this much discussion about Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I love having my pocket pick, if you will, for the movie I like that no one else likes, and I don't have a lot of those other than maybe the Phantom Menace. So having I love Ant-Man and the Wasp too, and you guys are just are you fucking kidding me? I am just so psyched right now.
I think the Phantom Menace was by far the best prequel movie. Just throwing that out there.
I'm not prepared to talk about that right now. We
can't
talk about that anymore.
That.
Thing about it, I do think the post-credit scene was really good, because you're like, this has been fun, and then the snap happened. Oh, he's trapped in the quantum realm. Yeah, that was good.
That is in my opinion one of the best examples of the comedy making the drama feel more impactful. Not necessarily from an objective standpoint, but just watching that and being
the contrast. Yeah.
Oh fuck, that came out of nowhere. And if that's how you felt when Thanos snapped, then I see why Infinity War is so good for so many
I was
people.
expecting it to happen throughout the whole movie.
Oh, yeah. I thought. Well, I didn't know anything about it. I thought going into it, it would be post snap. Yeah. So that was by the time the movie ended, I wasn't thinking about the snap anymore, which is why.
So, Robbie, to clarify, by you were expecting it to happen, you mean in Ant-Man and the Wasp, you were expecting this?
Yeah, in Ant-Man and the Wasp, especially when it got towards the end of the movie, I kept expecting it to happen, and it didn't not happen until the second post credit scene.
I think the last post credit scene is his aunt drumming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's funny, but it's also the ant is alone.
And there's the EAS happening in the background, so she's jumping and it's meh,
yeah. That was oddly creepy and funny.
I know.
Yeah, it was cool. It was very cool.
That was one of the most emotional snap moments, because so many other people got their thing back, but his daughter grew up.
Yeah.
I would so much rather, as a father, me age, Hawkeye age, and gets his kids back at that age. For the wife, it's actually kind of sad because her husband aged 5 years, but to have your young daughter age 5 years is probably the biggest gut punch in terms of
happened to Scott Lang. the most like likable guy who loves his daughter
and that's
more
what
than
he had
anybody.
been fighting for in the movies.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And that's the thing, like, he's so goofy in those movies. He didn't say anything. It was just his acting in that like 10-second range where he's hugging her is so good.
Yeah, it's
And
almost
he's,
like it's almost
crying.
like Paul Rudd is like a really, really good actor and they need to utilize him more.
I think they will. I mean, yeah.
If you haven't yet, go watch this Hot Ones episode. with
Oh, I definitely
the
will. I
on
like
Hot
Hot
Ones. He is as likable as Ant-Man.
Dang. All right.
I wanted to just to hit on one last thing as we're starting to wrap up, and it's about, because we're talking about how charismatic Paul Rudd is, right?
Sure.
How do you think they plan press tours around what's going to happen? For example, Bucky and Sam Wilson did all their press tours together for Civil War, right? Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. For Endgame, Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange,
Peter Parker.
Oh
yeah.
Tom Holland.
I'm just now
Now
realizing
they have
that.
a movie together.
I'm just now realizing you're right. Yeah.
Do you think they planned that?
Yes. I think
I
they
don't
do.
understand what you're saying.
Okay, so when they have a press tour, the actors that they paired together for interviews are actors that will appear together in future films.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I never pay attention to the press tour stuff.
I only watch them if I see them like on YouTube, like Conan or some interview or something like that. But that I've never realized that. That's a really good point. Now I'm gonna watch them more closely to see who's gonna be paired up in the future. That's really cool. The reason I thought they paired Benedict with Tom Holland is because if you watch their interviews, they're really funny. Every time Tom Holland is about to spoil something, he just interrupts. He's like, "So anyway, I think here's what I really like about Doctor Strange." He'll just cut him off.
That's funny.
I think, they played that off as a bit, like it was very fun, but I think that was bland.
Yeah, that's really.
I didn't even realize that until like a week ago when I watched the trailer.
I think Bucky and Sam, they're pairing their actors together. I noticed when Falcon the Winter Soldier was airing, people on like Twitter, whatever, Tumblr, I don't know, whatever, they were posting all of these videos of them. I think they do that on purpose because fans are more likely to be like, oh, look, they're like their actors in real life, or talk about it. And the more content they have to share with those actors, the more likely it's going to spread online, the more likely people are going to watch it. I think that's that's like really clever. So in the new Spider-Man that's coming out, we know at the very least that like Doc Ock from the Raimi movies is in it. And it's it's been denied 50 million times, but apparently the other two Spider-Men are also in it. So the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield, according to the rumors, are going to be in it too. We're going to get multiple Spider-Man in this movie. I think they got in contact with Sam Raimi and they're like, hey, for the scenes with Doc Ock and Tobey Spider-Man, we want you to give a pass on the script to make, because the reason I say this is in Avengers 3 and 4, Infinity War and Endgame, all of the scenes with the Guardians, they had James Gunn review and write their dialogue. I think they would have done the same thing with Sam Raimi. And then Sam Raimi, working on that movie, which we know Doctor Strange is in, he was like, hey, I really like Doctor Strange. And they're like, funny you mentioned that. We need a new director. I think that's how he got the role for directing the new Doctor Strange.
Okay, interesting.
Wow.
That is my theory.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he is like a horror aficionado and he's done other Marvel stuff, but that makes, because he wasn't known to be super in love with the trilogy he made because of the interference with it on the third one. So I was surprised to see him step back into it. That makes sense.
Yeah, so I think that is...
It's also so smart that they do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, to make sure that the characters fit that vision. They got Taika Waititi to write the Thor characters, too. Yeah, so that's my current working theory on that. And we'll see. I am so hyped for the Spider-Man and then Doctor Strange like combo of movies because they're going to bleed right into each other.
All right, so next episode... We want to talk about Shang-Chi. So make sure you watch Shang-Chi for the next episode.
Oh, now you put pressure on me though.
Yeah, I'm putting pressure on you.
Okay, fine.
This is officially feel the pressure as of right now.
I'll try to watch it. I don't know if I'll be in the same area as you guys or not, or if I will.
I will happily watch it again.
How about this? We can meet up in New Mexico in the black hole where there's the nuclear waste, and we'll watch it there together.
We'll watch it there. Yeah.
Set up a projector in the desert. All right, so how about we end this podcast by making a tier list of our favorite smells?
Lavender S tier, petrichor S tier.
Petrichor? Oh, is that after rain?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that smell.
Really? I love that smell.
Ugh.
When it rains and then the sun comes out and it's like drying and like you can see like the vapor like coming off the street.
The fact that you think
that
you would rank that higher than like a really good cheeseburger is just upsetting to me.
Cheeseburger, it like smell. I don't know. That's not a fragrance. All right, nobody's wearing cheeseburger perfume. All right,
you're not.
All right. I don't want.
That's the end of the episode. That's it. We're done.
Maybe
We're done.
you're not.
That's it. I'm stopping the recording.
Don't do drugs, kids.
You know it's the end because you're hearing this song, so like and subscribe and hit the bell icon.
Or click this vid if your clicking fingers itching. Thanks so much for giving us a listen.
Oh yeah. One hop this time.
Get swifty.